Hey, it's Ollie from React Vision, and I wanted to really quickly show you some of the new tools that we have been adding to the MCP server. The MCP server has been around for a couple of months, and it's great at understanding all the components and all the APIs within Viro. But now we've added some new tools to make it even more powerful so that your agent can not only understand the components and APIs, but once it's implemented them, it can actually validate the code it's written and look for any issues and fix those issues for you. So we've added some new tools for that. So let's just take a really quick look. So I've got the starter kit code base right here. I've got Claude Code running. So I'm just going to quickly ask Claude Code if it can validate the AR scenes within this project. Great. Okay, so my agent Claude has come back and they've run through all the AR scenes within the project and has been able to validate them. There's no issues that it's found, all looks good. It's just flagged that there's a couple of local models that it can't. When you ask the MCP to validate, it looks at the code and runs your code, but it can't always take local models. So it will use its own assets to kind of fill the gaps just for a kind of validation perspective. The next thing that I'm going to do is, okay, so I've validated everything, so everything works. Platform support check failed for some reason, but that's not actually that important at this point because we've just written something and we want to make sure that is at least valid input. So the next thing I want to do is just make sure that before I try and build and run anything that this will actually render. So the way we can do that is within the Viro MCP server, we can actually ask it to render our scenes, and that way it will actually use the web-based ViroReact renderer and try and render these scenes remotely, and that will enable us to know whether these scenes will run on the device or not. And then we can ask it to produce a report back with some screenshots so that we know that it's been able to run. So we can say scenes. So what I'm doing here is I'm now asking the MCP server to take the code in my code base and send it off and try and render it. And then take all the results and put it in a report for me within an artifact so that I can open it and I'll be able to see the screenshots to see that the scene has rendered and any feedback the renderer has given, like any errors or any issues that it's spotted. So Claude's still running through the validations. I'm just going to quickly show you what's happening as it's going through. So this is the shader scene, so that generates multiple spheres with different shaders on them. And what it's been able to do is take my code here, send it off via the MCP into our server. We've been able to spin up a virtual environment and render this. So this is a screenshot that's come back and you can see the spheres have rendered, they've got the shaders on them. The green background is because it's in a virtual 3D environment, so there's no camera feed, but that's fine because at least we know the main thing with these screenshots is just telling us that it renders, that it's able to load all the content of the AR scene without anything breaking or causing any errors. So that's the main thing. So it's going to have these green backgrounds, but it's more about verifying that your code will actually run inside the renderer before you try and run it. Great, so I've got my artifact here, so I'm just going to open that on my computer. I've got my full report now from my rendering. It's gone through every scene. It's flagged whether it's rendered or not. If it's not rendered, what the issues were. So Viro, the plane selector doesn't work. Great. And yeah, and if I scroll down here, I can also see the screenshots. So for every AR scene that we've got, it's basically been able to take the code and actually render it in within Viro. So yeah, I know that it doesn't look as nice as when you're running it on your phone. You've got background things and it's got this kind of green background, but that's fine because what we're trying to do here really is just validate that before I try and run my code on any kind of device, I know that it's going to work and not break anything. So with these new changes within the Viro MCP, what we're now able to do is get our agent to write our AR or VR experience using the MCP server, then validate the code that it's written to make sure the code is correct and properly formatted and using all the correct props. And lastly, what we can do before we then try and render that is actually get the MCP server to connect to our own server and actually go and run your code and render it and come back and confirm it can render. And if not, your agent can then pick up the issues. So by the time you actually run on something on a device, you know that it's been implemented properly, and you already know before you run it that it's going to render. So these new changes are available now on our MCP server. All the docs have been updated, so you can go and check them out. And yeah, love to see what you guys build with this.